Sean O'Malley is blasting the mentally weak Conor McGregor, calling him a, quote, drug addict and saying he needs rehab. O'Malley has praised McGregor in the past, saying that he's played a key role in his early MMA career. However, seemingly out of nowhere on Monday night, O'Malley took to social media to blast McGregor, saying he's no longer in the GOAT conversation and that he's mentally weak. O'Malley wrote on Twitter, "Conor isn't in anyone's GOAT talk. Entertainment, yes, but skills, no. Has a really good left hand, cardio, weak jits, decently athletic, but mentally weak. He's a drug addict and needs rehab. 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Still a fan though. Hope the toe heals up." What caused O'Malley to send this message is uncertain, but McGregor has yet to respond, and whether or not he will is unclear, and you can bet your bottom dollar if he does, it'll be a quick tweet and delete. But it did seem to come out of nowhere, as O'Malley trashed the Irishman for several of his traits and called him a drug addict. However, this is not the first time that Sean O'Malley has taken a shot at Conor McGregor, as back in May, Sugar took aim at the Irishman on his own podcast.
Yeah, that's crazy what Conor did to do. Oh yeah, Conor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Conor, man. I seen a lot of people being like, damn, I bet Sugar's sad. Sugar always just talks nothing but great about Conor, and like he's this fucking idol. I'm like, and then he just went on a little tweet rant, fucking booger sugared up, talking shit. I thought he's out for a spar. I'm like, bro.
That'd be sick. Imagine Conor at the gym.
Yeah, right. You're not gonna, but yeah, I was more sad than mad. I'm like, God.
Because it really was you're one of your favorites forever.
Oh yeah. Now I cannot wait to see Michael Chandler absolutely just sleep him. I'm turning up. I'm changing up real quick. Conor. When your idols turn into rivals.
Like a week before, you guys talked about going out on the yacht.
Yeah, I'm like, that'd be sick to train with him. He obviously was probably on some good amount of fun stuff. I think the tweet got deleted pretty quick. But it is what it is, man.
As for Sean O'Malley's fighting career, he does not have his next fight booked yet, but all signs point to him facing Merab next time out as he looks to defend his bantamweight title for the second time. O'Malley is coming off a decision win over Marlon Vera to defend his title for the first time after he won the belt by knocking out Aljamain Sterling. But hurt Michael Bisping predicted that Mike Perry would destroy Jake Paul, and now he claims the fight should have never taken place. Michael Bisping wants to remind you that there are, quote, weight classes in combat sports for a reason. I guess the Count, who's a former light heavyweight, forgot that he ducked Yoel Romero to book himself a title fight against a puffed up welterweight back in 2018. Perhaps losing to George St. Pierre by way of submission has since soured the retired ex-champ, or maybe he just hates celebrity boxer Jake Paul. It's understandable when you consider how many times El Gallo has whooped former UFC fighters. That includes Paul's 6-round technical knockout victory over Mike Perry last weekend in Tampa, a fight that Michael Bisping predicted would end in favor of Platinum.
A lot of smart people, by the way, were saying that Perry was going to win. A lot of people were predicting a Perry win. A lot of people in MMA were predicting a Perry win. In fact, our good friend Michael Bisping was predicting a Perry win. Actually, I think he said he was going to beat him quite convincingly, right? Did he not say that? I think he said that. Something to that effect?
He said he would destroy him.
We have the clip. Oh, we have the clip. Here's Michael Bisping before the fight. Check it out.
Made a tremendous mistake here because
play from the beginning because we just want to make sure who's making the mistake.
He's not afraid to make. So Jake Paul.
Okay.
I think he's made a tremendous mistake here because he's a real fighter. He's going to get in shape. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's going to go right at Jake Paul. Not the way Nate Diaz did. He's going to go forward with close, tight, sharp, powerful hooks. He's going to be in shape. The man's got a chin, and the fire still burns. Mike Perry's a brawler, man. Mike Perry's going to get in his face. Mike Perry, if this fight actually does go down, Mike Perry is going to destroy Jake Paul.
You see?
You heard it here first.
You heard it there first. So a lot of people were predicting, a lot of smart people in the business were predicting a Mike Perry win.
Now Perry, to his credit, did go at Paul and was in shape, but he got smoked anyway. It's not surprisingly that a bitter Bisping changed his tune immediately after the fight, now insisting that the bout should have never taken place to begin with.
Now listen, I know I spoke about, Jake Paul's made maybe made a mistake with this one, you know, and as you said before, and we were all sold on Mike Perry and supporting Mike Perry and, you know, with our hearts wanting Mike Perry to win. But then when you saw them in the ring, it was like clearly evident these guys aren't the same weight class. Weight classes are there for a reason, for a very, very important reason, because it gives you an unfair advantage. If you're just extremely bigger. I mean, I don't know what Jake Paul was weighing, at least 220. It looked like.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He looked big. Mike Perry looked remarkably smaller. So that's going to be issue number one. Mike Perry just didn't have the skills either necessarily to do what he needed to do. And I think once he felt the power and he ate a few shots, that again restricted his output because he's like, crap. There's real consequences here. I'm getting caught, and that shot didn't feel good. He got dropped in round one. He got dropped in round two. When he got dropped in round two, it was a nice one too from Jake Paul. You know,
sure.
I'm not just shitting on everything that he's done. I'm just being critical because, you know, as a fighter, even in fights that we win, on Monday morning or the next time you go into the gym, your coach should be critical, right? You go, oh, well, hold on a minute, I won. So, yeah, but hold on a minute. You got away with it in that fight. You're not going to get away with it as you go up the ladder.
Right.
So, and if the coaches do that, they'd say, bro, you were telegraphing your shots, you were looping. A real good skilled boxer that came up through the amateur rankings is gonna catch you. The footwork was all over the place. You were off balance and you were swinging and overcommitting and brawling, you know. Granted, it made it exciting and he beat Mike Perry.
Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna get into this, but all of those things are what's frustrating me. Like, I kind of was off the Jake Paul thing where I'm like, yeah, whatever. He's just doing his own thing. He's not doing great things right now. But now he's calling out Conor. And like, people are like, for people watching, him fighting Mike Perry would be like me fighting a welterweight. Like, we're not even close. It's not close at all. It doesn't matter how good of a welterweight you find. I'm gonna dominate in most positions on our feet because I'm just so much larger. Without question. So it's crazy to see these people like, oh, he's looking really good. He just beat a good veteran. It doesn't matter. They're not even close in size. And although it doesn't sound like a lot, maybe to the layman, it is, like Conor said, it might have been 40 pounds.
Yes.
That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of power. And Mike Perry has to fight from a distance that he's not used to fighting from. It's so far away that, like, you can tell he's uncomfortable because it's so far away and the body in front of you was so big. And then he does that very clearly, much larger than this man. We've all seen Mike Perry and Conor stand next to each other. Mike Perry is to Conor what Jake Paul is to Mike Perry. So then he calls out a guy that at one point in time fought at 145 pounds. They may be separated by 100 pounds at some time. Like, if Jake Paul gets real fat, he's 240.
Did you see Conor's tweet?
Yeah,
it was brilliant. He says, Jake Paul is the biggest piss bag I have ever seen in my life.
He called him a
40 piss bag. 40-pound weight difference, juiced out of his head and just shitting himself in there. Nikisa, his manager, you should take him to Vegas. Oh, that's right. You could never. The Athletic Commission testing, real fighting, bitch asses. You could never. And then calling out 60-year-old Mike Tyson fresh off an in-flight medical emergency. I swear to God, a fat can of bitch piss. Most valuable piss bag. I tell you what, it's not often I agree with McGregor, but I'm with him 100% here.
I'm with him.
Juliana Pena hasn't given Kayla Harrison the warmest of welcomes to the UFC. UFC 300 was an unforgettable night for all involved, and the former two-time PFL champion Kayla Harrison picked up the biggest win of her MMA career in her promotional debut, which was a second-round rear naked choke finish against former bantamweight champion Holly Holm, and it couldn't have gone any better for the two-time Olympic gold medalist. Unfortunately for Harrison, another former champion, Pena, wasn't too impressed and recently accused her of steroids.
Wait.
Holly?
No, Kayla.
Kayla. Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that she made 135 blew my mind.
Right.
I was worried about that.
I was worried about that too.
How do you think she looked on the scale?
Great. Strong. Yeah. Stay off the needle, bro.
What? You think she's on?
Maybe not now. I
Right.
mean, definitely in the past, absolutely. There's no question.
No question.
No question.
Harrison, who's 34, gave an initial response to Pena, but has now expanded on why it annoyed her.
I've heard.
Okay, so
clips.
just in case people miss, so your thoughts on what she said about you, and then she went in on ATT. She went in on Dan Lambert, poor innocent.
I know.
So
I know.
What's your response?
I mean, I just think it's hilarious. Like, haters gonna hate, dude. It blows my mind that it pisses me off. Number one, it pisses me off because, like, never once have I tested positive for anything ever in the history of my very long drug testing career. And number two, like, don't fucking say things like that if you don't have hard evidence. Like, that's a serious thing to talk about to me. You know, like, I take cheating very seriously, and I have always competed clean. I carry myself to a high standard. And I know that I haven't always competed against people who are clean, but I'm not going to throw accusations out just because I feel like I think they're not clean. Like, that's bullshit, you know? And I think it's bullshit because she just is, like, building in an excuse for when I whoop her ass, you know? So I'm annoyed by it. And at the same time, what a compliment. What a compliment. I'm 100% natty, and you all think that I'm on steroids because God forbid anyone ever work hard and, like, be disciplined and have a great team around them and, like, you know, have results from that. God forbid anyone train from the time they were 6 years old until the time they're 34 years old and develop a physique that was built to beat the shit out of people. Like, God forbid someone believe in themselves and work hard and succeed. Wow, it's fucked up.
Obviously not the
No,
first.
she gotta be cheating. She's gotta be cheating.
She's not the first person to say this. Does it annoy you when you read this or hear this? Do you get upset?
I mean, I just don't care anymore. Like, I know the truth, and I'm happy with everything I've accomplished and I'm going to accomplish, and I'll never fail a drug test. You know why? Because I don't fucking cheat. So.
Curtis Blades sees no issue with interim UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall believing his quote, own hype, as a select few have suggested. During an interview with ESPN MMA's Andres Hale, Blades looked ahead to his first opportunity to capture gold on MMA's biggest stage and assess some of the narratives flying around the heavyweight title picture. Razor was specifically asked about Aspinall's potential and the belief held by the likes of John Jones that the interim title holder may be buying into his own hype too much.
Well, man, Curtis, you haven't begged, man. I think you've earned this opportunity, and, you know, obviously you don't get to choose. So you got to fight Tom Aspinall in his backyard. But I thought it was interesting that John Jones also said that he wouldn't be surprised if you beat him again. And the reason why he said that, he thinks Tom is drinking his own Kool-Aid. Do you agree with that? That Tom is kind of feeling himself a little bit?
I mean, I can't say as to whether he is or he isn't. I don't think anyone will be able to tell that besides people in his inner circle. But if he is, can you really blame him? Like, he knocked out Sergey, and John seems, I don't want to say scared, but he seems apprehensive about the prospect of potentially fighting Aspinall. I would be a little gassed up also. Nothing wrong with that. I think you have to have that mindset. You got to be feeling yourself. That goes for every sport. Like, if you ask Joe Burrow right now if he thinks he's the best in the league in his position, he'll say yeah. Even though we probably wouldn't agree, he has to think that way.
Bilal Muhammad says that training with Khabib Nurmagomedov for UFC 304 has him on a different level. Muhammad has enlisted the help of Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev in recent years, and in a pre-fight interview, Bilal spoke candidly about the impact that's had on his performances.
Now, we got this Leon Edwards fight coming up. One big thing that a lot of people took notice to was some of the time you spent over the last several months with Khabib training out there with their camp. I'm curious, in what ways, technically, mentally, spiritually, whatever comes to mind, has your time with Khabib and his team benefited you the most?
I mean, it benefits me everywhere, right? Physically, mentally, spiritually. It just puts me on another level. I said it before, and people were like making fun of me, like, oh, you get off his jock, blah, blah, blah. Like, training with him and getting advice from him is like worth 20, 30, 40, 50 days with anybody else. Just being able to feel his strength, feel his, pressure, feel his knowledge too that he gives you, and to have him give me advice and what he thinks I should be doing, what I should be doing for this fight, and breaking down Leon and telling me what the game plan he thinks should be. The knowledge is endless, because to me, I think he's the GOAT of the MMA world and the UFC, and just like a brother, and that I can message and ask, and anytime I send a question, he'll respond. So it's just literally priceless to have that guy in my life.
How intense is Khabib's training process? Because from everything I've ever been told, it's the dude's kind of a nut job in the way that makes you a world championship fighter.
Yeah, right. There's nothing, there's no hidden juice, hidden secret with the whole with them, right? Their team is just all about hard work. It's just about overworking. And then when Khabib gets there, it's twice the overwork, and it's twice the push. It's a different level, and I think that's why you see a lot of those guys mentally strong, because they've been through the hardest things in their camps. They've been through the hardest parts, the hardest scenarios, and all of their practices. And then he continues to push you on. And if you don't like it, he'll just tell you to leave. If you're not strong enough to be a part of it, then you can just leave. There's no sugarcoating. There's no, let me give you a couple softballs in that gym. They're all killers. They're all beasts. And anytime you get a chance to train with them or work with them, I level up.
Now let's take a look at the top 3 comments left on yesterday's videos. This person says, I think everyone could be sleeping on Curtis Blades. He is probably going to go out there and start Aspinall. At Mad Yak says, I can't imagine that Kayla could get a body like Arnold without PEDs. When Arnold had to use PEDs to get his body up to competition levels, she is bigger and more buff than most guys in the gym. UFC could start a PED division, and anyone who thinks they need to use PEDs to fight in MMA when technique and talent is 90% of what is required, look at Bones Jones. He never needed PEDs. Why would he take them? And at Jay Chase says, El Poeton will absolutely dog walk John Jones. I will put my mortgage on it. If you want your comments highlighted on tomorrow's video, simply comment down below. We'll highlight the top best comments, good, bad, or indifferent, and feature them in tomorrow's video. And that does it for today's video, but make sure you're liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and clicking the bell notification so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And in case you missed it, check out yesterday's news.